सर्वोत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Reading from Canto 3, Status Quo, Chapter 19. Chapter 19. The killing of the demon Hiranyaksha. Verse number 27. Kshito shayanam tam akuntavarchasam Karaladamstram paridhastadajjadam Ajadayo vikshya sasam suragata Aho imam konulabeta samstitim. Kshitao shayanam tam akuntavarchasam Karaladamstram paridhastadajjadam Ajadayo vikshya sasam suragata Aho imam konulabeta samstitim. Kshitao jayanam tam akuntavarchasam Karaladamstram paridhastadajjadam Ajadayo vikshya sasam suragata Aho imam konu labeta samstitim. Word to word. Kshitau, on the ground. Shyanam, lying. Tam, Hiranyaksha. Akunta, unfaded. Varchasam, glow. Krala, fearful. Damstram, teeth. Paridasta, bitten. Dachadam, lip. Aja adaya, Brahma and others. Viksha, having seen. Sasam Shu, admiringly said. Agata, arrived. Aho, oh, imam, this, ka, who. No, indeed, Laveta, could meet. Samstitim, death. Translation by His Divine Grace, I.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Aja, Brahma and others arrived on the spot to see the fearfully tusked demon lying on the ground, biting his lip. The glow of his face was yet unfaded, and Brahma admiringly said, "Oh, who could meet such blessed death?" Please repeat. Aja, Brahma, and others arrived on the spot to see the fearfully tusked demon lying on the ground, biting his lip. The glow of his face was yet unfaded, and Brahma admiringly said, "Oh, who could meet such a blessed death?" Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although the demon was dead, his bodily luster was unfaded. This is very peculiar, because when a man or animal is dead, the body immediately becomes pale, the luster gradually fades, and decomposition takes place. But here, although Hiranyaksha lay dead, his bodily luster was unfaded, because the Lord, the Supreme Spirit, was touching his body. One's bodily luster remains fresh only as long as the spirit soul is present. Although the demon's soul had departed his body, the Supreme Spirit touched the body, and therefore his bodily luster did not fade. The individual soul is different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he quits his body is certainly very fortunate. And therefore, personalities like Brahma and other demigods utilize the death of the demon. I'll try to understand this beautiful pastime. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chaksuranmenitam Yana Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataran Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isvam Pancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. So here, this is the Lord Varahadev killing the demon Hiranyaksha, and so a few verses before, as after Lord is playing with killing Hiranyaksha, he could have killed much ahead of the time, but in a minute, in a fraction of seconds, rather, without using any weapons whatsoever. It's very inconceivable, this pastime, but here Lord wants to play and exhibit his Viryaras, as we heard before from Jay Vijaya, desiring how Lord fights. He wants to see Lakshmi Devi, wants to see how Lord will fight. So, in various reasons, this pastime has happened. So, Lord is exhibiting here. This previous verse is mentioned. The demon now began to strike the Lord with hard fists, but Lord Adokshaja slapped him in the root of ear. Even as Indra, the lord of the Maruts, hit the demon Mritrasur. Though struck indifferently by the Lord, the conqueror of all, the demon's body began to heal. His eyeballs bulged out of their sockets, his arms and legs broken, and their hair and his head scattered. He fell down dead like a gigantic tree uprooted by the wind. So this is the Lord Varahadev. So Lord's pastimes are inconceivable, especially the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, each and every verse and word. So simply hearing and understanding the deep meaning will help us to progress in devotion service. य एतत् श्रावयन् नित्यं यामक्षणम् अनन्यधि श्लोकम् एकं तद् अर्धं वा पादं पदार्थम् एव वा श्रद्धावान् यो अनुशृणुयात् पुनाति आत्मानम् एव स. One who with undeviating attention constantly recites this literature Srimad Bhagavatam at every moment of every hour, as well as one who faithfully hears even one verse or a half a verse or a single line or even a half a line, certainly purifies his very self. You can understand how important even a word, half a line, a single line or half a verse. So this is the beauty of this Srimad Bhagavatam. And here Lord Brahma and all other demigods, especially Lord Brahma, they're all this pastime is happening on the Garbhodaka ocean, the water. So Lord picked up Varaha, picked up the earth on his tusks, as the Varaha generally is pig or boar, we call is searching. So that is the business of pig as searching for the stool, but this is a forest boar. So that is also searching for things, but not so much stool. So we must search for the supreme absolute truth of the process of devotion service. As Lord Varaha picked up the earth and pulled on tusks, we are also in a fallen down position. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioning in his 6 Ashtaka prayers, how much we are fallen down. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam pulo krupaya tava pada pankastita dhuli sadrusam vichantaya. So we must, that's why one must surrender to the Supreme Lord, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram. We must become a servant of the Supreme Personality of God and his representatives. So that's why here Lord Brahma also came to see this beautiful form, even though it is shining, even though soul has departed, as Prabhupada is mentioning. So the important lesson is not waste time in this human life. It's a very, very important lesson Prabhupada's teaching from this verse specifically, as in many places Prabhupada talks about this, specifically in Bharat Maharaj's story also Prabhupada talks about tad anustravana manana sankirtana aradhana anusmarana abhiyogena. The constant hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord is recommended. As satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridam. Those who have taken to Krishna consciousness should be very careful that not a single moment is wasted. Not a single moment is spent without chanting and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his activities. By his own actions and by actions of his devotees, Krishna teaches us how to become cautious in devotion service. Through the medium of Bharat Maharaj, Krishna teaches us that we must be careful in discharge of devotion service. If we want to keep our minds completely fixed without deviation, we must engage them in devotion service full time. As far as the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness are concerned, they have sacrificed everything to push on this Krishna consciousness movement. Yet, they must take a lesson from the life of Bharat Maharaj to be very cautious and to see that not a single moment is wasted in frivolous talk, sleep, or voracious eating. Eating is not prohibited, but if you eat voraciously, we shall certainly sleep more than required. Sense gratification ensues, and we may be degraded to a lower life form. In that way, our spiritual progress may be checked at least for time being. The best course is to take advice of the advice of Srila Rupa Goswami, Avyadha Kalatvam. We should see that every moment of our lives is utilized for rendering devotion service and nothing else. This is the secure position for wanting to return home back to Godhead. So that's Rupa Goswami mentions, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is teaching to Sanatana Goswami about this. One must give forgiveness, Shantir, Avyartha Kalatvam, being freed from wasting time, Virakti, detachment, internal detachment, Mana Sunyata, absence of false prestige, Asha Bandha, hope, Samutkanta, eagerness to serve Krishna and Guru, Nama Gana Sadaruchi, chanting the holy name. One must have full taste, always trying to chant. Asakti, attachment to Lord Krishna and his devotees. Guna Akyan, and describing the transcendental qualities. Preeti, affection. And without affection, we can't serve the Supreme Lord properly. And Guru. Vasati Stale, place residing, make our home as a temple. These are the very important qualities, as Prabhupada is making it clear. So that's why one must receive this mercy of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna by serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, it's there is no way to destroy our unwanted contamination, anarthas we have. That's why one must observe the two lotus feet of the Lord when we are seeing the deity, and touch the lotus feet of Sri Prabhupada, pure devotee. Avismriti Krishna Padaravindayo Khinoti Avadrani cha Samtanoti Satvasya Suddhim Paramatma Bhaktim Gnanam cha Vijnana Viraga Yuktam. Remembrance of Lord Krishna's lotus feet destroys everything inauspicious and awards the greatest good fortune. It purifies the heart and bestows devotion for the Supreme Soul, along with knowledge enriched with realization and renunciation. So that's why one must constantly meditate on the two lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That will benefit all of us. Otherwise, even Lord Brahma, all the demigods are assembled there. They are watching from the sky. So this fight. So as soon as one time the Lord's mace fell down, then they were very much concerned. They were making sounds that don't spare him, just finish it up quickly. But Lord can finish. So in the opposite way also, Lord is there as Paramatma. He's giving so many lessons day after day through so many situations we go through in family life, in community, different people passing away, but we're not realizing, we're not learning any lessons. We're also as lifting the earth. He wants to lift us from this darkened consciousness to brightened consciousness, but we are not learning any lessons whatsoever. So we're still being taking it for granted. So not taking it seriously enough. Prabhupada has indicated. So Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutastunvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangha Padakramopanisadai Gayanti Yam Sam Dhyana Avastita Tadgatena Manasa Pasyanti Yam Yogan Yasyantam Na Vidusra Surgana Devaya Tasmai Namah. Even the demigods themselves cannot understand fully the glories of Supreme Lord. So that's why they came to see this pastime, how Lord Varaha is fighting. So and despite the soul passing away, still even the demon's body, because anything in touch with Supreme Lord is wonderful, beautiful. And Lord's plan is inconceivable. As we can see, Lord has planned Kurukshetra war much before, when Sisupal Rajasuya sacrifice was going on. Duryodhana being insulted, right there itself, Lord has planned. he will be killed. The whole dynasty will be killed right there. Prabhupada is making that point in Krishna. So Lord's plan is inconceivable. Nobody could understand at that time why Duryodhana was insulted by falling down in the water. So in that Maya Sabha. So that's why Lord's plan is inconceivable. We should utilize carefully. And we'll read something of inconceivable nature from this pastime from Gopa Kumar. So Lord Varahadev's pastime is also coming up here. Beautiful pastime, as the universe is covered with 7 layers, outer coverings. So Gopa Kumar went on for searching for a supreme absolute truth. He was not satisfied. He went on to different planets, from earthly planet to heavenly planet, so many planets. Now he's crossing over even the 7 layers. After crossing over Brahma, Lord Brahma, he became Indra, he became Brahma, but he was still not satisfied. So this is the conditioned nature. None of us are satisfied, trying to enjoy more and more different things, but we are not satisfied. We're still hankering for things. So that's why we are here. So demigods are also not exception from that, except Lord Shiva. So here, so we're reading from here Gopakumar's pastime. I tried hard to calm my mind, which was pained by his departure, and I reverently began to chant my mantra as instructed. One of the sage, sadhu, spiritual master, instructed to remember his mantra given by his spiritual master. Gopakumar was initiated by a specific mantra, Gopal Gayatri, way beginning, long back. So before he went on different planets. I then saw my body change into a form transcendental to the 5 material elements. And as I traveled upward, breaking through the sphere of the sun, I saw all the planetary systems. I saw that these planets, tainted by many faults, adorned with mere reflections of happiness, were but products of illusion, no better than what one sees in a flight of fancy or a dream. The planets I had earlier attained by one over a long period of time, I now crossed in the blink of an eye, as if by the power of my mind alone. Next, I reached the coverings of the universe. Each of them, more so than one before, was rich with enjoyments and opulences, millions of times greater than Brahmaloka. Souls who have transcended the false attributes of created things and who aspire for gradual liberation strive also to go beyond the causative elements of creation, elements found again as false attributes in what is known as the subtle body. To do this, they enter the shell formed of each element. They enter in a body composed of that element and enjoy to their full desire of essence of the pleasure to be had there. The first covering I entered was that of earth. There I saw the Supreme Lord in the form of a great boar, being worshipped by the goddess Earth, the deity presiding over that covering and its wealth. She worshipped him with riches not to be obtained within the universe itself, while all the opulence of the universe whirled within every pore of his body. Priti avaranam teshu pradamam gatavan tad aishwarya adika aranya dharanaya पूजितं प्रभुं ब्रह्मांड दुर्लभैर द्रव्यैर महा सूकर रूपिणम अपस्यम प्रति रोमांत ब्रह्मांड वैभवम. Even when seeing Lord Mahapurusha on Brahmaloka, Gopakumar did not see all the opulence of the 14 worlds in every pore of Lord's body. As he was seeing them now, each higher world is closer to a spiritual perfection. So in each successive world, the Lord reveals more of his infinite glories. The presiding ruler of each higher planet is more elevated than the ruler of the planet below. And still more elevated are the presiding deities of the subtle covering. So the goddess Earth in the subtle covering of the earth stands above Lord Brahma. Tasyam karan rupayam karya rupam idam jagat tad upadanakam sarvam spuritam cha vyalokayam. Within the goddess Earth, who embodies the subtle causes of creation, I saw the creation itself with all its ingredients. After she finished worshipping the Lord, the goddess honored me as her guest and begged me to remain there to enjoy for a few days. This is the first covering beyond this Brahmaloka. Taking her leave, I quickly crossed beyond that covering, as if pulled by some force, and reached the other 6. One after another, I saw Lords Matsya, Surya, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarsana, and Vasudeva, each with one of the great manifested deities of those coverings, worshipping him with the element over which that the deity presided, water, fire, air, ether, ego, or Mahat. Maharupa Dharair Vari, Tejo, Vayu, Ambaris, Tada, Ahankara, Mahadhyamcha, Swasava Swava Ranato Aruchitam, Kamena Matsyam Suryam Cha Pradyumnam, Aniruddhaksham, Sankarshanam Vasudevam, Bhagavantam Alokayam. This, as he saw all other 7 elements, as is mentioned, water, fire, air, ether, ego, or Mahat. Each covering was the subtle cause of the one before it and had a great object of worship or a greater worshipper and a greater sense gratification, opulence, and importance. So, as we go in this material world, we're trying to enjoy and it goes on, even the subtle coverings. As before I crossed over each of these coverings and finally came into the covering made of primordial nature, composed of the most subtle form of ignorance. It was dark blue and attractive to the eyes and mind. Seeing spread everywhere a color like that of my worshipful Lord. His worshipful Lord is Radha Madan Mohan. I was very much delighted. I had no desire to go further. As I arrived, the goddess Prakriti had just finished the worship of our beloved Lord, the Lord of that region, the effulgence of Sri Mohini Murti. The goddess at once approached me in her own speculative form. The Maya, the material nature, was worshipping the Supreme Lord in his female disguise as Mohini Murti, which implies that Sri Mohini Murti is much more attractive than Maya herself. She offered me gifts such as Anima, Siddhi, and other great yogic powers. And like the goddess Earth and other deities, she asked me to stay. She sweetly told me, if you want to achieve your goal of liberation, then please be kind to me, because I am the bestower of liberation. Or if you want devotion to Vishnu, still you should be kind and worship me, the giver of devotion. For I am his maid servant, his sister, the embodiment of his energy. Pure Vaishnavas do not care for liberation, but still they respect Prakriti for other reasons. She is Lord Vishnu's humble servant and sister, born as Subhadra from the womb of Yashoda, and she helps Lord Vishnu's devotees make progress in devotion service. Although Maya is not identical with Lord Vishnu's internal energy, Antaranga Shakti, she is expansion of that energy, embodied in the external element. Thus, she is non-different from the original energy, just as a person's shadow is non-different from the person. Sri Gopakumar declining all these enticements, understanding them to be the potency of Lord Vishnu. I bowed down to the goddess and then wandered for a while to see the beautiful colored region. In this way, we can see that how Gopakumar is showing this teaching. Lord is teaching. If Lord wants one who understands the Lord's plan, and one who understands the spiritual master and this devotion service seriously, then for them, Lord makes all the plans. Lord gives all the mercy and strength. Inconceivable. He makes all the arrangements. As we see the Mother Uttara's case, Lord has given blessings. Even though Parikshit Maharaj is about to the 7 days, the 7th day is almost ending. Mother Uttara walks in, rushing and asking Parikshit Maharaj, now whatever you heard, please tell me in conclusive way. So Parikshit Maharaj, almost time is over, but by Lord's mercy, it expanded inconceivably. And the Parikshit Maharaj is able to relate the whole pastime in a conclusive way by describing this Brahad Bhagavatamrita, where Maharaj this is a conversation between Jaimini Rishi and Maharaj Janameja, Parikshit Maharaj's grandson, fourth son, describing the greatness of the pure devotion. This where this is explained, how Gopakumar went from one place, meaning just like ordinary conditioned soul is being initiated by his spiritual master, and how he went from one planet to another planet within the material universe, and then crossed over these 7 layers. Then he went on to different planets and even in Vaikuntha. But still he was not satisfied until he reached the supreme abode of the Lord, Goloka Dava. So that's why one must hear the pastimes regularly. One must hear Sudanam Chandrinam api Madhurima Unmada Damani Dadana Radadi Pranaya Gana Sarai Suravitam Samantas Santapa Udgamam Vishama Samsara Sarani Pranitam Te Trishnam Haratu Hari Leela Sikarani. May the pastimes of Sri Krishna reduce the miseries existing in this material world, nullify all unwanted desires, The pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are like sikarani, the blend of yogurt and sugar candy. They overpower the pride of even the nectar produced on the moon, for they distribute the sweet fragrance of the concentrated loving affairs of Srimati Radharani and Gopis. So that's why one must hear regularly. And we see that in the prayers when Lord Krishna appeared, born, the demigods are offering the prayers, glorifying all the incarnation of Lord Varaha. Matsyasva Kachapa Nrsimha Varaha Hamsa Rajanya Vipra Vibhudeshu Krutavatara Tvam Pasi Nastribhuvanam Cha Yata Adunesha Baram Bhuvo Hara Yadudatma Vandanamte. O Supreme Controller, your Lordship is previously accepted as incarnation as a fish, horse, a tortoise, Narsingadev, a boar, a swan, Lord Ramachandra, Parsurama. Among the demigods, Vaman Dev, to protect the entire world by your mercy. Now please protect us again by your mercy by diminishing the disturbances in this world. O Krishna, best of the Yadus, we respectfully offer obeisances unto you. And the beautiful prayers demigods are offering, describing the glories, also mentioning here. O Madhava, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the Goddess of Fortune, if devotees completely in love with you sometimes fall from the path of devotion, they do not fall like non-devotees, for you still protect them. Thus they fearlessly traverse the heads of their opponents and continue to progress in devotion service. O Lord, during the time of maintenance, you manifest several incarnations, all with transcendental bodies beyond the material modes of nature. When you appear in this way, you bestow all good fortune upon living entities by teaching them to perform Vedic activities such as ritualistic ceremonies, mystic yoga, austerities, penances, ultimately samadhi, ecstatic absorption in thoughts of you. Thus, you are worshipped by the Vedic principles. Time is up. So, thank you very much for joining. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Kundu ki jai. So, the main key instruction in this verse is to not waste time and utilize carefully so that we can be uplifted like Varahadev uplifted. So we all can be uplifted through Sri Prabhupada and Guru. If you have any questions, realizations, reflections, you can share. If not, we'll conclude today's class with 3 times Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, nursing their prayers in one chapel. Okay, no questions. We'll chant 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai
Nrsimhadeva, Paradeka Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa, Ugram Veeram Vikram Sarvotam Nrsimham Isharam Gatram Mrityam Namami.
Vignanasana Narasimha Bhagavan ki jai. Bhakti Maharaj ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Grasya ki jai. Let us offer our obeisances to all the devotees assembled on this call and all over the universe. Pancha
Patita Nampa
Thank you for your association.
Thank you, Krishna Nam Prabhu. Hare Krishna.